This channel is made possible by viewers like you. My viewers, subscribers, and patrons greatly help to keep this channel going. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for all of you. Please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any uploads. And if you'd like to go the extra mile, please check out my Patreon page. For just $1 a month, you'll get access to what I'm working on, previews of upcoming content, and even early videos, along with other tier options for those that are interested. Thank you, and now on to the video. When it comes to twin-stick shooters, I'm always up for a new one. Housemarque was usually my go-to for new twin sticks, whether it was from their excellent Dead Nation, where it infuses action with zombies and horror, or the very underrated Alienation, which provides a lot of satisfying loot. They still deliver excellent experiences, and while you can see much of their great style in their new stuff too, Housemarque is moving on to new areas and games, which leaves me on a search for twin-stick shooters. The Ascent is an underrated one that provides addictive progression, very fun gameplay, captivating visuals, and a healthy amount of jank and flaws. I think most would enjoy this game, and in many ways this title is underrated, and one that I'm always happy to highlight as well. When I first played The Ascent, it was one of those rare titles where I didn't know much going into it. I heard it was a cyberpunk game and it was very buggy. Outside of this, I didn't know much. So for the most part, I was going in blind into this. And when we are flooded with news all the time, it makes these times extra special since I didn't really know what to expect. The Ascent is a visually awesome game. The use of colors and its general look and camera work give it a movie-like cinematic quality. It elevates everything else. Presentation-wise, this is a stellar title, especially from the soundtrack. There isn't a dud among the tracks, and this is one of those titles that I have permanently on my phone, so I can listen to it everywhere. Visuals and presentation can only take you so far when it comes to a game. You can even have a lackluster story and characters as well, but you need to bring the gameplay. If it isn't fun to play, then everything else doesn't really matter. The Ascent is fun, very fun in fact, and a title I enjoy returning back to. The Ascent's gameplay is all centered around twin-stick shooting. It's often chaotic and action-packed. You have all manner of different enemies coming at you, and even mobbing your position. Battles can range from more tactical-like encounters to heavy onslaughts of foes that you need to contend with. During a firefight, you are on edge, and each one of them is full of tension. The shooting is violent and satisfying, to the point that some of the violence can be a symphony of chunky destruction. Gun sounds are a nice mix of the expected and unique. Shotguns have a nice punch to them, and energy weapons seem ripped right from a science fiction film. Impact-wise, the Ascent delivers with lots of blood, and at times an extreme amount of dismemberment. Limbs are often blown off, and if you use the more explosive weapons, enemies will just outright blow up. Most dead enemies will lose their arms, legs, or some will just explode. And while this may seem delightfully sick, you can mindlessly mow down NPCs that are just going about their lives. The amount of them on screen at once is pretty cool as well. And more importantly, all of this stuff is endlessly entertaining and extremely over the top. The perfect display of video game violence. You can equip up to 2 weapons at a time, and there's a nice selection from pistols, rifles, machine guns, shotguns, explosives, and more. There's 2 primary forms as well, with ballistic and energy weapons. Ballistic are good against humans, and energy are better against robots. Special weapons can be found as well, and this is where you're going to find those fun explosive rounds. It comes down to player preference on what you want to use and have equipped. I often find myself experimenting with different types, and love the homing burst guns, rocket launcher, and the fire pistol. Added on to this is a tactical and 2 AUGs. Tacticals are on a cooldown and range from healing, dropping turrets, summoning a mech, grenades, and a lot more. AUGs use energy, and you can have 2 active at once. With these, you can summon allies, create a shield, heal, and use other special attacks. Just from the gun selection, tacticals, and AUGs, you have a lot of room to play around with and find something that fits your style that you want. The Ascent does a solid job at providing you with a good amount of player expression. Will you be a short-range fighter, dropping an allied AI to help you out? Or will you stay back with a sniper, stick to cover, and drop turrets to draw the attention of other enemies? This is where playing in co-op is a lot of fun, because you can have different friends fit different roles or become hybrids themselves. As a defense, you have two main options, the dodge roll and cover. The dodge works as expected and will allow you to get to a better position and dodge many of the wider attacks. The cover is a nice touch and allows for more tactical options. All you have to do is find some waist-high cover and crouch behind it, and then you get that protection. You can swing your weapon out and fire, and when doing this, enemies will have a very hard time hitting you. But since the enemies have explosives and tend to rush you, you won't want to stay in one position for too long. You'll have to use a mixture of dodging and cover to ensure that you don't lose all your health and stay on top of it. You can honestly get away with using no cover for the first fourth of the game. But after this, you're going to want to be using it, and it's not a fun novelty anymore, but rather something that is essential for survival. One thing that I really like about the cover is that it's not a sticky cover system, which can be a problem when combined with dodging, as you could accidentally stick to a piece of cover that you did not intend to be behind. So the Ascent does a really good job with the dodging and the context-sensitive cover, so that you can freely pivot to a more run-and-gun position, or be more tactical as you decide. When it comes to progression, you'll earn experience points from kills and quests. You can eventually max out all your skills, but it's going to take a long time, so you want to take some time up front and consider what to focus on. You have different categories to put those points into, like more health, energy, faster reloading, greater critical hits, and more. Each one of these slots relates to a different area. For example, if you dump a lot of skill points into a skill that is connected to cybernetics, you will increase your proficiency with skills that are related to cybernetics, and for those that want to experiment, there is a respec option as well. You will earn more guns and armor and even upgrade those guns as well. There's a lot to earn and makes the progression meaningful and addictive. There's even a transmog vendor that you can use to equip the best stuff and look how you want. Now I can talk this game up plenty, but it would be disingenuous of me to not mention or show some of the flaws that I encountered. And I want to make note too that as I played the game longer, I would find more flaws and issues. I am confident that there are more issues that I haven't even experienced with my time with the Ascent, as I have seen everything from the elevator leaving my character suspended in the air, to having invite issues with the crossplay feature. It's nice that there is crossplay, but at the same time, just like many areas in this game, it needs more polish. This is very much evident when you come across a bridge within the game which feels like it had no balancing at all. Every time I went through it, I almost always died. It has a cheap set of enemies with very little room to dodge in, and yet I was still having a lot of fun. The Ascent is a very fun title, while also being a very buggy game. You can see that the developers are really good at providing quality gameplay, with addictive progression, and a stellar presentation along with an absorbing soundtrack. I haven't covered everything here from this game, but I showed enough to illustrate the fun that is consistently here, along with the flaws that will pop up. It's a blast to play and one that I enjoyed in single player and in co-op. So what is the Ascent? It's a title that is a lot of fun, and I really hope that we see more games from this developer as they continue to improve. Do you like twin stick shooters? Have you played the Ascent? If so, what are your thoughts on it? Let me know all of this in the comments down below. If you're interested in being notified of new videos, please hit the subscribe button and bell. And if you would like to support the channel and get early access to content, please check out my Patreon. All of the links will be at the end of this video and within the description. And thank you very much for watching.